Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our next session. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Mehar Ahluwalia and Mr. Rishab Guglani, our associate partners from paper and packaging sector in West India. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming and attending our session. My colleague Rishab Guglani and I are here from Invest India, and we'll be presenting on India opportunities along with the policy reforms, which are promoting the investments in the packaging sector of India. We'll start with introducing you to what Invest India is and what our role is. Invest India is your one-stop shop to help you tap into the opportunities and understand them, which are available in India. We are the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency set up under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. We are fully supported and funded by the government. Invest India also works to cater to your needs from identifying and discovering the right opportunity to grounding the investments. We also assist and work for issue resolutions and policy advocacy. Our organization is pro bono, which means we charge no fees for our services. Whether it may be finding the right opportunity, right land, information on applicable incentives, policies offered by the central or the state government, it may be connecting you to the right stakeholders, government officials, representations of your policy inputs, providing market opportunities or business advisory. We are present throughout your business investment journey. Not only do we help with facilitating projects for investment, but we also have a few mandates housed under us. We are managing Startup India, which supports the ecosystem of Indian and foreign startups, and it is the world's largest virtual hub. We have Agni, which also works in commercializing Indian innovation program. We have IIG, which is also known as the India Investment Grid, and we'll be getting into a bit of detail later on this. And it provides a digital menu of investable projects for both public and private. Then we have Project Monitoring Group, which helps us to fast track issues related to large scale investment in India. We also have Prime Minister's Scientific Technology and Innovation Council. In short, we are your one-stop shop and your first point of reference for discovering India as your investment destination. Here, I'll be mentioning to you the recent policy and the reforms that have come up to promote the investment into the sector. We have recently launched Empowered Group of Secretaries, which is a group of cabinet secretaries of all central ministries and department secretaries who will work to promote ease of doing business, improve the investor sentiment by fast tracking and addressing their issues and providing resolution. We are also coming up with the national e-commerce policy and the retail policy, which post-COVID, we have seen the growth in the consumer market and the demand, which will also increase the demand of the packaging sector. And we know that India continuously striving to make new foreign trade policies and improvements. So we continues to make India as a leader in the international trade. Here we're talking about how India is making itself a more important and investment destination by dividing and its policy reforms into three folds. One being cost of doing business, second being ease of doing business, third being risk of doing business. We'll start with the cost of doing business. Next slide, Rishab. First being how India offers a competitive landscape for manufacturing. It may be labor wages, it may be power cost, it may be water, it could be EODB ranking or other utilities that we want to compare with other developing nations. Next slide. We are also continuously improving our business climate in India, and it completely shows by the improvement in the EODB ranks and Global Innovation Index, along with the Logistics Performance Index. We have, along with EODB, we have also continuously seen how India's FDI climate has seen the improvement for 18%, and we're continuing to grow by our investments by promoting and providing facilitation. One of the policy reforms that were introduced to make the process more simplified, which would be more simplified as a regulatory process for the businesses, was GST, which is the Goods and Services Tax. And it is the biggest tax reforms in India that has been implemented till now. Reduction, which also promotes reduction of input and manufacturing costs due to the simplicity of the tax policy. India has also removed transportation bottlenecks, which also improves the overall logistics and the cost of business for the companies and the investors by reducing the travel time. Here, as I mentioned before, we're talking about the India Investment Grid, which is one of Invest India's mandate as well. And it is an initiative of Government of India, which showcases investment opportunities across states and sectors in India, making a very interactive platform. Also, it houses the National Infrastructure Pipeline, which was announced by our Honorable Finance Minister to house investable projects and social infrastructure projects for all the subsectors. India is also continuously promoting and building itself as an export hub. To work towards it, India has invested $1.4 trillion in the infrastructure projects for the next 5 years. It could be through Bharatmala, where we are increasing, where we're decreasing the logistics costs by building highways and networks, which is also working to increase the average speed of the road network. And we're also, decreasing the toll plazas and the checkposts. That is also overall increasing the port handling capacity for India.
Thank you, Mehar. Continuing on this topic and talking about how Invest India is a one-stop shop for investments in India. And in case any of these companies or any of the present participants here or the companies or visitors have any investment plans, be it greenfield, brownfield, or even facing an issue. So the whole reason is we will act as a one-stop shop, and reaching out to us could make you help to achieve that in a simpler process with the vision of ease of doing business. Now, talking about the perspective of how the packaging market is and what are the opportunities in India. So definitely, India is in one of the drastically changing markets in this space. And only if we just look at the market demand numbers, we will see a huge change in numbers, not only with the growth perspective, but also with the perspective of actually, hello. Yeah, sorry. With the changing landscape of how India will actually be a part of how we see this numbers being changing and how market demand is changing. Talking about this, Asia itself represents a very big chunk of this market out of the global market. And we see this growing very exponentially. And these the maximum growth rates realized in these markets. And even if we compare from the historical figure of 5 to 7 years and see the forecasted way, we see India will be growing in one of the largest and becoming the fourth largest packaging market. Getting into a bit more specifics of India, India will have a market demand in the next 2 to 3 years, will have a market demand of $51 billion, which is a very exponential increase of 5% annual growth rate. One of the key sectors pushing this would be the food and beverage and the healthcare industries, which will be growing at 18% and 9% respectively, which is huge than any end market growth across globally. Getting into subsectors of this, we also see that paper and paperboard-based packaging and plastic packaging will be the key pivotal sectors pushing this demand growth. Getting to specifics of the paper packaging market, we will see that container boards or liner boards and even carton board, which we consider as a packaging, has seen not only a demand-based growth, but also a quality-based growth. Talking about this, how this the quality grade has also gone up is we see a lot of e-commerce retail players entering this market, and with a new retail policy in place and with the structure falling there, we will not only see the bulk packaging growth, but also primary and secondary based packaging for the private labels present on these e-commerce websites. Also, we saw with the COVID, a lot of the packaging shifted and the dynamic changing from food and beverage industry being one of the topmost push for this industry, and the grocery and premium grocery brands entering with India's FDI growing so high in this. Even in 2020, we saw food and beverage actually pushing this. And we will also expect this to happen in future. Talking about the plastic and packaging industry, the demand in this sector is also being pushed by both rigid and flexible based packaging. With rigid first initially used to be a bit slower than the flexible packaging growth. However, rigid bottles have also started to grow. One of the rise of PET bottles in India, where people have also started to think about using these cycled PET-based plastic bottle in their packaging. That means the demand is so growing that they've already started to plan for the sustainable packaging of it. And we will see that the same sectors across maybe food, beverage, cosmetic, nutrition will be the ones which are showing very heavy demand with the growing commercialization and with the growing urbanization in cities. Talking about glass and metal packaging here, we have seen that a lot of the beverage and food processing industries being established in India, and we will also see these industries coming in live in near term. We see that alcohol-based packaging, alcohol-based can-based packaging, alcohol-based returnable glass packaging. Along with that, we also see beverage-based can packaging has also grown with a lot of the global brands trying to eye this market currently. Talking about the global market picture and how India is fitting in that picture is one of these global players who never used to think about investing in India are not only present in India, but are aggressively expanding. And they're eyeing this Indian market to actually not only establish their facilities near export hubs, but also in dry ports to capture the domestic demand as well. So we see companies like Westrock, Ballcorp, Amcor, Crown Holdings, Hutamaki, and players like these opening multiple facilities in India to meet the domestic demand as well as export in India. So this is a bit about what is the packaging landscape and what the opportunities are to invest in India. We would also kind of request each of the participants to kind of go through the Invest India's website to learn what we are doing as Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat and the different measures and schemes that Invest India is doing along with that. You can also reach out to us at paper.packaging@investindia.org.in, where you can directly we can have a quick fixed meetings or discussions of what your company's investment plans are and how Invest India could fit in that vision. We would help you not only with helping you with issues or even grounding your facilities, but any measures or any difficulties you're facing to establish your facilities or even running your facilities, such as good as incentives to as complicated as land search, not only at a union level, but at a state or a district level as well. So I think that was all from our end. We will be very happy to take up any questions or clarifications you would be having or anything you would be like to know more about Invest India and our services. Over to you, Sameerji.
Thank you, Ms. Mehar and Mr. Rishab, for your valuable insights and industry updates on the EODB policy reforms and opportunities in packaging sector. Thank you.
a choisi de développer une stratégie de différenciation basée sur l'innovation et le développement durable pour aller chercher plus loin de la valeur et exporter plus loin nos produits.
Wherever we operate, in France, in Europe, in the United States, China or India, Rocket unlocks the potential of nature to better serve food, nutrition and health markets.
Because nature is at the center of everything we do and everything we want to do.
Rocket promotes and supports good practices and behaviors and draws its strength in the respect of its values of authenticity, excellence, forward-looking and well-being.
Flavors, they're just everywhere. And when one sources from the best farms across the world, like we do, you can taste the freshness. Be it the tart of an orange, the zest of a lemon. All sourced sustainably with a dash of love. At Ultra, we have built a legacy of more than 90 years to craft natural flavors, fragrances, and supercritical fluid extracted oils. The textures of taste that you want at the breakfast table and when you go out to celebrate. A range of flavors and food ingredients to help you heal. Some that surprise you. And some you want your family to share with each other. For us, quality isn't an achievement, but a way of life. From over the farms to your table.
a choisi de développer une stratégie de différenciation basée sur l'innovation et le développement durable pour aller chercher plus loin de la valeur et exporter plus loin nos produits.
Wherever we operate, in France, in Europe, in the United States, China or India, Rocket unlocks the potential of nature to better serve food, nutrition and health markets.
Because nature is at the center of everything we do and everything we want to do.
Rocket promotes and supports good practices and behaviors and draws its strength in the respect of its values of authenticity, excellence, forward-looking and well-being.
Flavors, they're just everywhere. And when one sources from the best farms across the world, like we do, you can taste the freshness, be it the tart of an orange, the zest of a lemon. All sourced sustainably with a dash of love. At Ultra, we've built a legacy of more than 90 years to craft natural flavors, fragrances, and supercritical fluid extracted oils. The textures of taste that you want at the breakfast table and when you go out to celebrate. A range of flavors and food ingredients to help you heal. Some that surprise you. And some you want your family to share with each other. For us, quality isn't an achievement, but a way of life. From over the farms to your table.
a choisi de développer une stratégie de différenciation basée sur l'innovation et le développement durable pour aller chercher plus loin de la valeur et exporter plus loin nos produits.
Wherever we operate, in France, in Europe, in the United States, China or India, Rocket unlocks the potential of nature to better serve food, nutrition and health markets.
Because nature is at the center of everything we do and everything we want to do.
Rocket promotes and supports good practices and behaviors and draws its strength in the respect of its values of authenticity, excellence, forward-looking and well-being.
Flavors, they're just everywhere. And when one sources from the best farms across the world, like we do, you can taste the freshness, be it the tart of an orange, the zest of a lemon. All sourced sustainably with a dash of love. At Ultra, we've built a legacy of more than 90 years to craft natural flavors, fragrances, and supercritical fluid extracted oils. The textures of taste that you want at the breakfast table and when you go out to celebrate. A range of flavors and food ingredients to help you heal. Some that surprise you. And some you want your family to share with each other. For us, quality isn't an achievement, but a way of life. From over the farms to your table.